This massive piece of granite was erected in memory of Marshall Stevens as a tribute to the foresight of the man who invented the term industrial park. When he was working for the Ship Canal Company here, he saw the potential of inviting companies and factories to locate themselves right next door to where raw materials were arriving. His idea, if you like, was to have an industrial park where companies could take advantage of facilities close at hand. Trafford Park, one of the great names of modern industry, a renowned super site, a paradise of low railway rates and quick transport, a place where there are less than 8 furlongs to the mile, more than 24 hours to the day, an Americanised corner of old jog-trot England. And that's a description of Trafford Park, not from recent times, of course, but from a book printed 50 years ago. Times have changed, but if you look around you, you can see the clues to that busy and industrialised past. These railway buffers, the tracks along the quay here, the canal itself, bollards where large ships tied up. Because Trafford Park was the world's first industrial estate. The key to Trafford Park's success was its geographical position, at the heart of industrial Britain, close to Manchester, and only 40 miles away from the coast at Liverpool. And it was this close proximity to the sea that made Trafford Park boom. Because in the late 19th century, a group of local businessmen and the local city council decided that what Manchester needed to be was a seaport. So Manchester dug a canal, deep enough and wide enough to take even the biggest ships. So Trafford Park now had direct links with Europe, America, Australia and the Far East. Ships brought in timber from Canada, cotton from Egypt and the Carolinas, motor spirit for the growing car industry. And they took out the finished goods from the workshop of the world. Companies came to Trafford Park from all over the world to manufacture and distribute their goods. Peter Hadfield, chairman of the Trafford Park Development Corporation.
Well, Trafford Park's been here now for nearly 100 years. And it was one of the first, in fact, the first industrial park. And of course, we've got a lot of names still in the park that were here right from the word go. And we've got international and national companies. We've got Kellogg's, we've got GEC, we've got Ciba-Geigy, we've got Carborundum, we've got Texaco, Shell, Esso, all the big names.
Ciba-Geigy, the international industrial chemicals company, has been here for nearly 50 years.
The big advantage for us to be in Trafford Park is the communications network. We export 70% of what we produce here, and the fact that we are close to the national motorway network and have a good access to all the ports, we're close to the intercity rail network, and right on our doorstep there's a major international airport with good connections to North America, Middle East, Far East and all the major European cities. That's been a very crucial factor in the development of our business.
If you take Trafford Park and you look at it on the map, we've got the most wonderful communication system of anywhere in the UK and probably in Europe. We've got an airport which is only about 20 minutes away. We've got surrounded by fantastic motorways.
Manchester and Trafford Park are centrally located in Britain with a network of roads surrounding the park that make it an ideal location for business and industry. There's the M62 to Liverpool in the west and to Leeds and Hull in the east. There's the M6 to Birmingham, and from Birmingham the M1 onto London and the southeast. Scotland and the whole of the southwest are readily accessible through the rest of the motorway system. Further afield, road freight can reach Paris, Brussels and Dusseldorf in 2 days, Milan and Madrid in 4.5 days, and all the goods can clear customs at one of the freight terminals before leaving Trafford Park. And in 1993, all these times will be dramatically reduced. Goods will be able to leave Trafford Park's Euro terminal by rail and through the Channel Tunnel reach Paris or Brussels in 24 hours and southern Europe in only 36 hours. One of the oldest companies in Trafford Park is Carborundum, who originally moved to the park to service the Ford Motor Company. Ford are no longer here, and Carborundum expanded onto the old Ford site. For Des Towers, the marketing manager, it's the services surrounding the park that are most useful.
Well, the advantages of Carberham and Brazier for being in Trafford Park are the close proximity of the plant to the services available in the city of Manchester, in the Greater Manchester conurbation in general. No company exists on its own, and that's particularly true for a manufacturing concern. So all the financial and commercial services that a company of this size requires are readily available in what is arguably the second city of the country. And of course, the engineering and technical support that we would require are also readily available, local and very professional.
Ships used to arrive at this wharf with grain from America and Canada for Brown and Paulson, later CPC. The grain still arrives at the same wharf, but now comes from southern Europe, and the company is now called Cerastar, part of the Ferruzzi Group, the agri-industrial conglomerate. Managing director of Cerastar is Anthony Ratcliffe.
Although it is very important to have a first-class road network system, proximity to a major airport and rail system, the Manchester Ship Canal is extremely important for us. It is along the Manchester Ship Canal that we import our raw materials from mainland Europe.
And over recent years, many other companies have chosen to take a site here in Trafford Park. Why? What are the advantages to be gained? Well, I came here to put those questions to Roy Dyson, Managing Director of Total Leisure. I asked him why Trafford Park.
Why Tootle came to Trafford Park? There are a whole variety of reasons for that. We were looking for a location which satisfied certain criteria, primarily that we should be, because we're a distribution area particularly, that we should be close to motorways, we should be close to container bases, and here we're close to both Barton Dock container base and the Manchester International Freight Terminal, and that we should be close to the airport. On the 25th of June 1938, Manchester was once again laying the foundation for another success story, the official opening of Manchester Airport. It was to have as significant an effect on the area as the opening of the Ship Canal in the 1890s. In the 1980s, needs have changed, but the response has been as vigorous as ever. When this city needed a canal, they built one. Times changed. When they needed an airport, they built one of those too. This is one of Europe's fastest growing airports. More than 50 airlines fly to over 135 different destinations around the world. And because Manchester is not prone to fog, it often acts as a relief airport for London's Heathrow and Gatwick. And even more passenger terminals are planned for the 1990s. In addition to those excellent passenger facilities, Manchester Airport boasts a £10 million cargo centre with sophisticated freight handling equipment that makes it one of the most modern and efficient in Europe. The freight terminal is now handling over 70,000 tonnes a year, and over 10 million people a year now pass through the passenger terminals. Whether you have freight to send or meetings to attend, then most European cities are only a short flight away. There's a regular shuttle to London that takes 35 minutes flying time. You can get to Amsterdam, Brussels and Paris in just over an hour, Dusseldorf and Frankfurt in an hour and a half, Milan and Munich in 2 hours, and direct flights leave daily to New York and Chicago that take under 8 hours. So goods manufactured here can readily reach their markets wherever they are. And one company has invested over £100 million expanding and modernising in Trafford Park. Like the airport, Kellogg's have just celebrated their 50th anniversary. One of the reasons they're here, the people.
I think what we have here in the United Kingdom is an opportunity to demonstrate that the British worker, provided with the best of tools and equipment, is the equal of any in the world. That is what we have proven here in the United Kingdom, what we are proving right here today in Trafford Park.
Ciba-Geigy too has long-serving staff and few problems in attracting the right people.
With regard to attracting staff, to this site from outside, we believe that here there are all the advantages and all the amenities that you would expect to find for both urban and rural living. The city of Manchester, there's plenty of cultural activity, plenty of theatre, plenty of art, cinema, plenty of sporting activity, a major football club just down the road, Manchester United, the cricket ground, a lot of sporting activity. Around Manchester, down into Cheshire, lots of countryside. There's a great variety of housing of all types and prices available. So we find we have little difficulty in attracting people from outside the region to come here and join us in Trafford Park.
Another of our very great strengths within this area are the multitude of universities and polytechnics which we've got, turning out probably some of the best graduates in the country, if not in the world. I mean, I believe 25% of the electronic engineer graduates come out of the university in Manchester, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
Industry has always had strong links with educational institutions, and just about 10 minutes drive from here at Trafford Park is the largest campus in Europe, with colleges, technical colleges, polytechnics and universities that provide a research backup that's drawn many companies, major companies, for example, from the States, from Europe and the Far East. It was here, for example, at Victoria University, that Ernest Rutherford became the first scientist in the world to split the atom. It was here that Freddie Williams and Tom Kilburn designed the first computer with built-in storage memory. In fact, it was marketed by Ferranti. The National Computing Centre is now in Manchester. The National Robotics Centre, formerly the Mechanics Institute, is at Salford University, which has always had very strong links with a wide range of industries.
And in addition to the formal education available, tailor-made training packages can be put together to meet the needs of incoming companies.
Now, right next door to Trafford Park, there's an area known as Salford Quays, one of the basins on the old canal. Now, people like living and working near water, as we've seen from what's happened in London's Docklands. And Salford Quays is really very similar, because now there's modern, high-tech factories, there's superb housing, a hotel and restaurant complex, even a growing marina.
A sign of the buoyancy of the whole Manchester area is that 6 new hotels have been recently opened, and many of the older ones have been extensively refurbished. One of these is the Midland Hotel, near to Manchester Central Station. It's now got a rather grander, more exotic name.
This is the Holiday Inn Crown Plaza, a superb hotel right in the centre of Manchester, originally built around the turn of the century as the Midland Hotel, close to the railway station for businessmen who came to this city. Now, the recent £16 million refurbishment of this hotel, together with redevelopments of hotels like the Hilton and the Copthorne, the Ramada and the Portland, all indicate the tremendous confidence investors have in this area as a whole. What of Central Station itself? Well, it's still there, just behind the hotel, in fact. It's been beautifully restored, as you can see, and it's now known as GMEX, Manchester's Event and Exhibition Centre. And they hold here everything from pop concerts to exhibitions and major sporting events. It is, if you like, another sign of the rejuvenation of Greater Manchester.
But as well as being a first-class exhibition centre, you'll find everything from the Halley Orchestra to the Harlem Globetrotters. And not far away, this, the New York skyline. In fact, just a few hundred yards away from GMEX is the country's newest tourist attraction, Granada Studio Tours. And it's this kind of contrast and variety that makes the Northwest an interesting place to be. And as if to emphasise this, Manchester has been chosen as the British nomination for the 1996 Olympics. Chairman of the Manchester Olympic Committee and Managing Director of Manchester Theatres Limited, Bob Scott.
The great challenge to the northern cities is now to be an attractive place to live. And what Manchester can offer its own homegrown audience is a remarkable list of facilities and resources. We're the only city outside London with 2 symphony orchestras, the Halley and the BBC Philharmonic. We have 6 professional theatres in the city centre. We have, I think it's 7 art galleries, and we certainly have the best municipal collection that I can think of, and we have a great university gallery at the Whitworth. We are the second centre for the newspaper industry. Most of the northern editions are printed here. And we have a massive television and radio presence at Granada and the BBC. So what you really have got here is a arts and communications industry and community who are doing great things for residents and visitors.
For many years now, Peter Henry has been involved in business development in northwest England.
Quality of life in the northwest of England is absolutely magnificent. In terms of value for money and what you get for your money, it's very good indeed. In terms of education, 8 centres of excellence in terms of universities, polytechnics, in terms of culture, Halle, BBC, television generally, the whole of the area is steeped in talent and a very good quality of life. So it's not only good for your business, it's good for you. It's good for you to live.
But it's on the 3,000 acres of Trafford Park itself that most changes are now taking place. The Trafford Park Development Corporation's £160 million investment will generate a further £1 billion investment over the next 10 years. And a team of designers, planners, architects and engineers has been assembled to make sure that Trafford Park is a good place to work and a good place to do business. Again, Roy Dyson of Tootle Leisure, one of the recent arrivals in the park.
I personally have been with the group for about 30 years, and this for me is unquestionably the best working environment that I've ever encountered.
Well, Trafford Park, without a doubt, is one of the most exciting places to be today. We've got excellent communications, marvellous infrastructure. We've got a very good quality of life within the northwest of England. We've got good housing, we've got good schools, magnificent universities, and we really have got the most exciting place that one could possibly wish to be in at this particular moment.
In short, the team from the Development Corporation is taking Trafford Park, a success story of the past, and turning it into a success story of the future.
And so finally one might ask, what does the past have to tell us about the future? Well, the lesson would seem to be that a good site in a well-served city, whose people are hungry for success, is a winning formula in any age.